Good afternoon, friends, Lilligans, anti-novelists, curious onlookers, and others. Welcome to today's podcast. Currently, I am working on Zettelkasten for fiction, where imagination finds order. This is an all things how-to book for fiction writers so that they can employ the power of a Zettelkasten system to get their novel written. So let's swing over here past the bookcases in the library where it is currently 100 degrees in Missouri. Yuck. That's why I'm hiding in here with you. Yesterday, I told you that I would show you my new Zettelkasten setup. Some of you who know me may recall, originally, my Zettelkasten started in the lid of a plastic file box. That was all I had, so that's what I used. I then ordered this sweet little bamboo box, which has two sides for 6x4 cards. It's about 7 inches deep, and it's meant for recipes, but I loved it so much, it was a great place to get started. As of yesterday, however, I outgrew this little box. So now this is where my catch-all lives. Some of you may remember these little ringed sets are where I put my on-the-go cards, so I just have colors for each of my characters in the novel, and I can throw this in my bag, take it with me, and if I want to make notes about a character or a scene or a setting, I've just got a little packet that I can do that in. I have specific ones. This is for my main male character. This is for my main female character. So if I want to go to a coffee shop and sit for an hour and just riff on my main characters, I've got little things I can do that with. It doesn't require a charger. It's not going to lose its memory or crash. It's just a set of note cards I can write on. Love that all day long. So as I outgrew this box, I thought, well, it's time to migrate to a new box. I am not a file card box person. You know, those big file card boxes with the drawers, that's not me. Just yesterday, you'll see I have the key in my file cabinet because my file cabinet locked me out of it on its own. I don't have good luck with drawers. So instead, I got this handy dandy sturdy little box. I think it's meant to store sweaters in your closet, but it's perfect. It's 19 inches long, it's 12 inches deep, and it holds 3 columns of cards perfectly. So as I migrated my Zettelkasten over, it took me about 2 hours to do the whole thing. I just took everything out of this box and all of the other boxes I had parked cards in and installed them all over here. So just like Scott Scheper says, when you set it up, I have a main box. My 1000s are the arts and humanities. My 2000s are the social sciences. My 3000s are the natural sciences. My 4000s are the formal sciences, and you'll see on these tab cards I've left myself some guideline notes that just tell me what things might belong in this category as a reminder. And the 5000s are the applied sciences. Then I've got a little space with an extra packet of blank cards behind there. Over here in layer 2 of the Zettelkasten burrito, I again have just a little disc system of cards. That is a basic 4-act plot structure. We'll talk more about that later, but that's just a little placeholder in the front because that way when I flip cards forward, I have a nice V so I can see things. Respect the V. Thank you, Kathleen Spracklin. Nod to her. My 6000s are quotes and references. This is also where my vocabulary goes. Thank you, Scott Scheper. Scheper letter issue 19 going into 20. Vocabulary, very important. Love including that. I also have something that I call my phrases. These are things that my characters might say, things that are colloquialisms, quotes, figures of speech, just little things that characterize them. So if I haven't written in a character's voice for a while, I can pull something out of here and immediately, boom, I can jump right into that character's point of view, into their voice, and those phrasing cards remind me how they might speak or things they might make funny references to. My 7000s are everything for novel 1 in my series, which is the novel I'm currently writing, The Conjuring Stitch. Now, you may recognize I have put the novel writing on hold in order to finish the Zettelkasten for fiction book. So many of you have been so gracious and terrific and asked questions about how do I employ this system for myself. So I'm putting the Conjuring Stitch aside for just a short time, and I'm going to finish the Zettelkasten for fiction for you guys. But the first thing in my 7000s, where my novel lives, is a complete novel structure. This is what I call the plot box, and I'm going to tell you what that is later, so we'll circle back to that. But after the plot box then comes all things that are the world of my novel. I've started a section called the Book Bible. We'll talk about what that is later. In a word, it's just a system that categories every single thing in your novel, but we'll come back to that. The final section is my bibliography. This is the section that's most kin to a library card catalog. It's an A to Z section that simply logs the books that you read by author, just like a card catalog. Last name first, first name last. You might have the title of the book. You might have where you found it. In this case, this was an interview at a YouTube channel called Diary of a CEO. Highly recommend that. In this case, these are just regular books. And you'll note, like for example here, in the Raymond Clemens edition of Introduction to Manuscript Studies, I've got Cornell University Press 2007. It's underlined in blue. Why is it underlined in blue? Remember over here when I said if I go out and want to work on my main male character, that's Marshall Branch. Branch's character color is blue. So that's one way that I communicate with myself over here in my Zettelkasten. If I have something that I think might have bearing on him or on any character, I'm going to swipe that item with that character's color. In this case, Marshall Branch went to Cornell University. So this is a reminder to myself when I run across this bibliography card that has relevance to Branch because that's the university that he went to. So that's just a quick little peek into my process, but let's wrap this up. Over here, I have my daily task tracker where I track my task blocks. So for example, today I outlined and sorted the cards for the chapters that are going into the Zettelkasten for fiction book. And I did 6 task blocks, which were 30 minutes each, equaling roughly 6 hours. So that's just a little tracker that I like to keep for myself, either of working task blocks or tracking the number of words written. I didn't get a lot of words written today, but I got a lot of research and reference work done. So between the two, that's how you get your book done. But we're going to go more into that later. So here's my outline for my Zettelkasten for fiction book. It's just got a few of the items that I've been working on today. This is my writing Bible, always at hand, the Guru Scott Scheper's Anti-Net Zettelkasten book. Today, I was looking up the top 2 ways to get started, which is when he sends you to his chapter 11 and his chapter 14, because those will have relevance for you guys reading my book. So wanted to make note of that. And then over here, holy moly, we have the book. So I've started laying out my note cards in the order that the chapters are going to appear. This is introductory material, kind of leading into chapter 1. Then we get into chapter 1 on character development. We go on through plot development. All of the things that are going to go into this book are spread out in this list. And of course, those of you eagle-eyed viewers might catch down below my Kathleen Spracklin edition of Writing with Emotion, because there are 2 key ways of developing your story. One is using emotion as a story driver, and one is using conflict as a story driver. And in my book, we're going to talk about the differences between those and why you might use them. So I've gone on long enough. I will leave you here for today, but suffice it to say, we are making good progress on the Zettelkasten for fiction book, and I will see you tomorrow when I talk more about how some of these processes might help and inform your work to get your writing done. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time. I know it is your most precious resource, and I will talk to y'all tomorrow.